Hi, my beautiful ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with the part 2 for you guys, okay? I appreciate all the likes and the comments and the shares, if that's what you want to do. If not, then don't. Okay, anyway, so I'm going to be going back. I have my little notebook, okay? So everything I said last time was just off the rip, okay? But I did some notes last night, okay? Sorry it took so long. I do have a life. I'm busy, okay? I don't have every day to try to help my, my black woman and my black men, okay? I don't have every day, okay? But I wanted to go over some comments that I heard, okay? Okay, number one, black women, we don't want any pookies or ray-rays. Who's still trying to do that? Do I look like a pygmy should? No, I don't, okay? It's not all about the money either, okay? I don't date black men. I only had one black boyfriend, and that was just like on some just wanting to get out the house when I was 18. So I went with the first dude, and he happened to be black. Okay, the first guy that taught me something, he was African. I don't know if you guys are even aware with their African heritage, where you come from, but you guys, it seems like you're so programmed that you are like stuck in a slavery mentality. You think that the things that you were taught in school, that was all fake. Your mommy and daddy, they never told you anything. They just said, oh, you're a king, you can do what you want to do. No, you can't, okay? You don't know who you are. That's a lie. As I was saying, when I met the gentleman when I was 18, of course he was older. I call him my Nipsey. He looked like, you remind me of Nipsey Hussle, but without the dreads. And he wasn't a Crip or anything like that, no gang banging or nothing. But he did open my eyes. He had, I remember when I met him, he had like a penthouse on the 22nd floor, and I was just like, I was like so in love. But yeah, I learned my history. I'm not aware if any of you guys seen the Bob Marley movie, but if you could go back and look, he not just Africans, but Africans and Ethiopian, but Jamaicans as well. They it was a man, an emperor called, his name was Haile Selassie. He was the emperor, and he was an emperor from 1930 to 1974. I bet you guys didn't even know that, okay? Your mommy never told you, or your non-black woman, they never told you that. They just said, oh, you have a black dingaling, that's all they care about. And of course, half-breed babies, and your babies aren't even all that majority of the time, especially the kids nowadays. So yeah, and yeah, it's not always what you can do. It's about the type of information. What information can you give me? What can you tell me about myself that I don't know? So yeah, that's another thing. Men thinking that we're going to just chase after them and stuff like that because they think they're the prize, and in reality you're not, okay? I am. We are women, black women in particular, we're the prize, not you, okay? That's why in the black families it's usually like a matriarch somewhere in there, like their big mama or something like that. They're usually the ones to hold the family together. It's not the grandpa, it's not their dad, it's a black woman. So there's another thing when it comes to black men. People are saying like, it seems like I like thugs and stuff. No, I don't. I don't want a man that's been in the penitentiary or in jail. But I do want to be protected, you know, like I stated in my first video. White men, they're, you know, protective of their family. They're not gonna just let any bum on the street come up to their family or anything like that. That's what I mean. If something goes down in America, how are you gonna defend me? You know, how are you gonna do that against a white man, a Trump or Elon Musk? How are you gonna defend me when it comes to that? You can't. Okay. And let's see what else. Yeah, and that's another thing. During slavery, you guys, you couldn't even protect your family back then. So that's in your bloodline, you know. So, yeah, that's another reason why you shouldn't take black men seriously. They can't even protect you in a professional, manly manner. We're not talking about savages or anything like that. We don't want that, okay? Because we want to be able to take a vacation, and we don't want to be targeted because we're with the black man, okay? Yeah, that's why like Suge Knight and people like that, men like that, they're more admired by black men because they're alpha man, okay? They're alpha males. And that's why black women, they do tend to go toward the, you know, the wannabe PIMPs and the D boys like that, you know. Not me. I like I said, I don't feel comfortable when I'm in the car with you, okay? And another thing, 7 figures, it's not enough, okay? Maybe 15, 20 years ago, it would be something. But it is different parts of the country in the states that are cheaper. Me, I'm in California. So, your 7 figures, it's not going to go a long way, okay? A 3-bedroom house costs almost $1 million, okay? So, that's not a flex. Don't come in my comments talking about, oh, I got 7 figures. I got a house in Florida. I got a house in Thailand. Okay. You can get that for like a quarter. You can get, for $1 million, you can get a freaking mansion, okay, down south. And you could probably buy a whole damn city in Thailand or something like that, okay? That's not a flex. Vegas too. Vegas is cheap too. So yeah, the single family home in California, it's at least $800,000. You're gonna need about $80,000 for a down payment. Most black men, they'll rather get a car that costs $80,000 and try to flex on people with that. Okay, and yeah, black men, that's all they care about. They'll go 20 years. Once they turn 20, that'll be their whole. That would be like their, you know, their thing. Oh, I want a nice car. I want a half-breed baby. That's about as low as they dream. Okay, they don't have any dreams besides that. And maybe besides, you know, being a rapper or a ball player or something like that. And that's a slam chance to none. You know, sometimes people are beating their heads and telling them things that, you know, aren't realistic. Okay. Yeah. What else did I put? Oh, for all those men like claiming, oh, I'm married to an Asian, or I want an Asian, I'm gonna go to Thailand and get an Asian. Most of you men that are saying that, you're claiming you are a Christian or have Christian beliefs. Most of those women, honey, they're Catholic, okay? And they're going to always put you second to their family, to their immediate family. Not talking about the kids if you guys have them, but I'm talking about their mom and their brother and things like that. Okay? Another thing is, because I live, like I said, in California, so I'm around a lot of Asian, Hispanics, and Caucasian people, okay? And so I'm going to like just be going over some of the, you know, the cons and the pros of that, okay? And some of the pros, well, are those pros or cons? Some of the cons about Asian women, because you guys, you know, love Asian women. Most of them are submissive. I mean, that's a plus for you guys. But another thing is they're like overly jealous, you know. I had a friend that was mixed with Filipino, and she was like really possessive, like even over me. Like she didn't want me like being in a room. Like I used to smoke cigarettes, for example. And one time me and my other friend, which was a black girl, we went, you know, in the room to smoke a cigarette, and she like busted in the room. She was like very possessive. I don't like that. Most of them have like a tackiness about them. Like even if they're like wealthy, they'll still be like tacky with it. Okay, and they need validation, external validation. So it's not coming from inside. They need your validation, black men and white men. Latino men, I seen a Latino man comment on my post saying, oh, I couldn't, she seems like she's silly and all this and dumb. Honey, you're so easy to get, okay? Most black women, they think of you as tricks, okay? They think of you as easy tricks. Like it's not hard to get you. Most of you guys are under 6 feet. That's a con. Going after Mexican men, Hispanic. They have a Catholic religion, which means most of them aren't even circumcised, which means you're a higher risk for infections. All my Latino women and black women that, you know, like Mexican Latino men, you know, most of them aren't circumcised, honey. 99.9% aren't, okay? And you know, you gotta worry about like it's like a fish smell, you know, if it's not cleaned right, and you're at higher risk for like UTIs and infections and stuff like that. And black males, I was just writing some notes down about, you know, the control and prevention crap about the HIV. You know, most of you guys are you're at higher risk for HIV. Let's just put it out there. Let's be honest. They said 1 in every 3 black men who have sex with black men will get HIV in their life. Okay, so that's another reason why black women should not take black men seriously. Okay. A lot of them, you know, they've had their encounters with a man, whether it was in high school, when they're a little boy, whatever, you know. Another thing is like black men, they fear like going to the doctor and the dentist for some reason. I even know with my own dad, who was in the medical field. He was an x-ray technician. He's retired now, but yeah, the dude, he never even got his teeth done. I mean, he wouldn't get his teeth cleaned or anything, and now his teeth are like rotten and shit, and from, you know, drugs and drinking. So a lot of them, they're scared to go to the doctors, black men, and it's really ironic and it's funny because they're the main ones saying like, oh, I want a woman that's a nurse and all of this and that. Honey, you don't even go to the doctor, okay? Once you hit a certain age, once you hit in your mid-40s, you have to get a colonoscopy, okay? So go look that up and see what it means if you don't, okay? So you guys, they'll have cancer and they'll not even know it. They'll have disease and not even know it. So, yeah, that's another reason to not put black men on a pedestal, you know. not take them seriously. They don't even take themselves seriously. What else did I put? And I'm going to tell you some of the cons and the pros about Black women, okay? Black queens, okay? We're born with the confidence, okay? We're authentic, we're independent. We have genuine smiles. When we smile at somebody, we really mean it. I've got that too, being, you know, growing up in a predominantly white neighborhood. Woman, they'll smile like they'll give you that smile, and you can just tell it's fake, you know. We don't, you know, we're not, it's not in between, it's not, no in between with us, you know. You don't have to second guess us. Either we like you or we don't. White women, they don't have that. You're like, even like working with some white women, you're like, oh, do they like me or not? You know, like, are we cool or not? So it's no second guessing with Black women. Either we like you or we don't. And of course, our curves, you know. We have just a confident demeanor, allure. Then I put, what did I put? The black wife effect. That was like trending viral on social media. Where they'll put the before and after relationships of being with a Black woman, the white man, and they'll look totally different. You know, they're like swagged out, and before they met her, they're like, you know, they just don't have it. And I've noticed that with friends that I had. You know, I used to be a kind of, you know, I used to be the friend that would get my friends like out of their shyness or whatever, and yeah, they got that swag from just being around me, you know. The cons about being with a Black woman is racism, okay? So, and we're always under surveillance, you know. I could be with a white woman, and we'll go in the store and they'll be looking at me like I'm going to steal, and really it's the white, you know, woman that's going to be stealing. The average weight is 188 pounds for a Black woman, which that is, you know, kind of big. The average for a white woman is 170 pounds. Asian 135, and Hispanic is 168 pounds. I'm more of the on the Asian side when it comes to that. I've never been over. I think the biggest I've been was 136. Right now I'm about 127, 130 in that range. I don't have kids, so maybe if I had kids, I would be more in the Hispanic range, which is 168. I wouldn't probably be that big, but maybe around 150, somewhere in there. But I do work out, so that puts me, you know, in the top 10% of the Black women, because I am in shape and I don't have any kids, okay? Flat stomach, you know. Has a little booty. So yeah, that's that. Black mothers are more likely to be single than any other race. Single mothers, because of mainly due to undersupply of marriageable men in the Black community, okay? So that's why they're more likely to be single, because of the men, you know? And like I said, the cons are, you know, no, they got them. Yeah. really irritates me. I don't like loud people, sorry. There's a time and a place, but yeah. Another thing is most of them, they're too strong to submit to men. Unless they're worthy of it. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, so you guys can go do your research, but that was just like a part 2 of my video. I did the first part. Sorry it took so long. I do have a life outside of this, but I do want to, bring awareness to Black men and women, not just Black women, but if you go for Black women, if you're a Hispanic woman, to not put them on such a pedestal, because just like how Latino men, they love a lot of women, like Black women, whatever. It's easy for a Black man to get a Latina, or a white woman that's, not really, the best of their breed. They get like, the lower bred ones, but you're not gonna get like, those Instagram models and all that, because they're too busy, worried about themselves. And that's kind of where I am,